this seems to be flying better already. Yay, I can still make airplanes. So there's always been a runway here, but looks like there's at least 2 other buildings now, like some kind of lighthouse off to the left. Definitely a lighthouse. Very nice touch on the cape there. It looks like there's a tracking station on the there. There was going to be another building here because there was something about a boat launch on the map. Maybe that's another island. Nope, there's the boat launch. I see it now. Right by the end of the runway. Swing past it and get a good view without crashing. It's got a nice little ramp, goes into the water. I guess it spawns your vehicle right on top of it there. So if you are into designing boats in this game, this is an excellent mod for supporting that. And we don't have any of those funky aerodynamics mods installed. This is just the stock aerodynamics model. Maybe the missile silo is just one of these buildings back here in the KSC. Look like apartment buildings, though, not missile silos. I'm gonna hit the VAB on this path. Yeah, let's make left. I might need to save this design. This is flying remarkably well. It has to have a lot of speed to get lift, but I don't mind that so much initially. So let's try launching from a different place. So that was Jeb's Airport is the one that's pretty near here that I want to try. So let's select that and launch. I think that works. Yeah, that seems to have worked. It's going to drop me onto the runway, though. No. Forward. Okay, let's set the brakes and take a look around. This is kind of neat. There's a nice big control tower. The runway's got a little bit of a ramp on it to get you moving upwards before you hit that mountain range there. Looks like there's some tracking stations and maybe some kind of launch pad over there. Parking lot. I really should probably be doing this in rover, shouldn't I? Let's just zoom out and see what this whole thing looks like. So a very neat thing they did to do a kind of terrain lookalike around this. There's little pyramid sort of things. And then he's got a ramp you can drive down to get back down to the ground. According to this, runway 5 and exclamation points. So, just runway 5, really. I thought that was spinning at first. Let's see what was over here. Oh, this island's got quite a lot of detail on it. Yeah, this looks like some kind of launch complex here. Oops. Did not mean to go into the mountain. Yeah, that's kind of a tower and hangar. So I guess Jeb can launch his own rockets if he wants. Some observatories up on the hill. Another boat launch, some docks, another lighthouse. It's very, very cool that they have all this detail here. I guess that's another dock or boat ramp you can get to. What's this building? Just an apartment building. So this adds a little bit of character to Kerbin that it's been missing for a while. So just to show you where this is on the map, is we're currently just northeast of the Space Center, which clouds are kind of making that difficult to see at the moment, but such as it is when you have clouds in your game. Everyone should have clouds in their game. Makes the game much better. Let's check out another one. I want to see if this is actually an aircraft carrier, because I'm very, very curious. Let's select that and launch. There's an aircraft carrier in this game. That's insane. Probably impossible to land on, but, you know. Probably impossible to take off from as well. This is definitely an aircraft carrier. This is absolutely an aircraft carrier. And I think this is actually big enough to land on, if you're very careful. That's really impressive. Holy cow. And it's more colorful than a real aircraft carrier, which I personally appreciate. Because, you know, there's no reason to be as drab and boring in Kerbal Space Program is. Military would be... Wow, this is amazing. Where is this located? Okay, so we're about halfway around the planet from the Space Center. Okay, no, maybe about a quarter of the way around the planet. It's, you pass the Kerbal Indian Ocean here to this kind of Kerbal Atlantic, I guess. Or would that be the... I don't know. It's on the other side of this spit of land that half my rockets tend to crash on when I don't get to orbit. I forgot to set the brakes. Okay. That's fair. That was my fault. What is that? Alright, so let's try and take off here. I just want to see if I can. Maybe try landing as well. Holy moly, that actually works. Somewhat. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that actually worked. Oh, not in chase mode. I don't know exactly how slow I can go without stalling. I'm gonna try and do about 70 meters per second. Seems like it might be safe. Second thought, we are starting to drop a little already. level with the flight deck right now. Too low, too low, too low, too low. Oh, that was a good pass. Oh, shit! No, it wasn't. Oh, goodness. Okay, this one seems to be missing a few textures. That's interesting. Like a oil drilling platform. And then this this vessel out here is also missing textures. Oh, they probably use default textures that have been overwritten by the stock part revamp mod. Okay, this went poorly already. Okay, that was, yeah, that worked. Alright, so I don't think I'll be launching from there since it doesn't have any textures on it. A little disappointing that that got overwritten, but I think I can go without a helipad on a oil rig. Let's see, Kerbin Lake. Where have we appeared? Oh! Oh, this is different. It is a runway in a lake. Everything here appears to have textures, which is a relief. Let's see what we got here. It looks like a pretty nice area to drive around in, too. Just, this is so bizarrely detailed, but they keep them nice and low texture, so it doesn't take up much space that the game could use for other things. They keep the Kerbal aesthetic, which I really like. I think this looks like something the Kerbals would build. It kind of fits in with the Space Center. And even all the extra buildings that don't do anything have ramps so you can still drive up to them. Let's see what else is around this area. Just these? Oh, looks like there's something to the north here. Yeah, let's take off and go check that out. This is a very narrow runway. These are stock jet engines. It's just I've got a mod that has overwritten the texture and model for the stock jet engines, so they look a bit cooler, I think. That's the stock part revamp mod. That is part of why I'm testing this out. Is I want to see if all of these different places actually work with the stock parts revamp. Because I'd kind of like to add this to my career mode. Save. I just want the extra runways, places to land if I screw things up really horribly. But just having places to go on Kerbin is a pretty big advantage. What do we have here? Is this a launch facility? This looks like a launch site. Kind of a protected cove. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Dover. doesn't really look like a launch pad now, does it? Like a big fancy apartment building. Got a helipad though. This is almost assuredly not an easy airport to land at. That terrain right there at the end of the runway was brutal. Whoop. This is clearly on the other side of Kerbin since it's dark here. That is a really big control tower. Very large hangar. It kind of looks like a flying saucer parked here. I don't know what that's all about. Though, actually, I think what that is I think that's a refueling station that's compatible with Kerbal attachment system or something. What would explain that? I don't have Kerbal attachment system installed, though. That's a nice long runway, but it is awfully narrow. And then what do we have here? Helipad? Yep, just a helipad. Anything else in this area? Just a nice big lake. I really like that. Okay, so next airport on the list we want to check out is the Lushin's runway. Oh, we're good. This looks awfully familiar. So it looks like the same runway. Minus the control tower. And there's nothing else here. There's nothing else here. This is just a random runway in the middle of nowhere. Where are we relative to the Space Center? I think we're like the next continent over, perhaps. I know there's a runway somewhere along this river canyon thing, because that was one of the ones Scott Manley showed off in his video he released last night. So yeah, this one looks like it's just going to be a emergency airstrip if you just happen to find yourself coming down in this area. Let's check out the map, see where we are. Yeah, so we're about a third of the way around the planet from the Space Center. So this is a pretty big continent where I find a lot of my spacecraft coming down. So you could absolutely aim a space plane to re-enter over this ocean, and if you enter over the ocean, you can hit the aircraft carrier with somewhere around here. And then if you go too far, you can hit this runway. Very useful indeed. This is the Arako observatory. It's modeled after Arecibo down in Puerto Rico. Alright, so this is the giant island in the center of the big crater on Kerbin. Let's okay, so we're definitely not going to be able to take off like normal here. There's lights in front of us. Let's set our brakes so we don't roll off the pad like we did on the aircraft carrier. Lots of places to drive around on this area, it looks like. Definitely going to have to design some hoverable spacecraft, or some hovering aircraft if I want to get in and out of here. A bit of a switchback. That seems like a poor place to make the road go, but yeah, so the switchback goes down to the clinic there, which is one of the rover spawn points. And then you got just the huge satellite dish in the middle, clipping through the terrain a tiny bit, but I would have been surprised if it wasn't. Can't wait to see this part during the day. So if you're not familiar with this area of the map, this is about a third of the way around the globe west of the Kerbal Space Center. There's a very large crater and a big lake in the middle. And in the middle of that lake is an island, and that appears to be where they've decided to stick this observatory. This is kind of neat. Yeah, this is just packed ice, isn't it? There's a helipad here. Let's try and land on this thing. Nice big runway. No terrain issues for miles. Bit of a bounce. It looks like just almost dead center South Pole. Kind of, I guess kind of about where McMurdo would be, though. I guess the equivalent to McMurdo on this would be right around this coast area here. So a bit inland from this really big bay, from the looks of things. Let's tilt forward. Yeah, put that front wheel on the ground. See, another issue I'm running into with this airplane is the wheels are directly underneath the center of mass, so when it drops me onto the runway, I start rocking back towards the engines. It's balanced a little bit too well on those back landing, or back tires. There is a runway here. Why couldn't I launch from the runway? Whatever. This is the North Pole, kind of a neat little biodome going on in here. See, the stuff that I'm getting ideas for is that I guess I almost want to ship my Kerbals around on Kerbin before they go on missions or something. It's like, oh, I want to send a mission to Lathe, but oh, I have to go up here to the North Pole and pick up Jebediah Kerman first. Because he's been training here. Something stupid like that. Might work better for a, just for a YouTube series or something. So not exactly on the North Pole, but not too far off of it. We do appear to be on the ice sheet rather than over land. So the continent, so yeah, it's on the same ice sheet that connects to this continent here. That is this the one? Yeah, so you can just go pretty much straight north from the Kerbal Space Center, and you'll find this eventually. This could be where HOC Gaming winds up all the time on his Kerbal polar hunt things. This is an interesting texture for a airstrip. Let's brake so we don't roll backwards. Where are we? So we're considerably southwest of the Space Center, probably about halfway around the planet almost. Looks like we're on the south shore of this continent here. So same continent as the big desert, but kind of the southwest tip. Right near this kind of inlet area. Looks like there's a little bit of a ramp on the end of this runway. What is with these people and putting ramps on their runways? It doesn't seem safe. It's already cost me one plane. I don't see any other structures in the immediate area. Nice, actually pretty short runway from the looks of it, but it is fairly wide. So that's a advantage this has. You might be able to land something big here. You're not going to have much room if you overrun, but you know, +3/+3 in trample is going to go through a lot of things. Just ignore that joke. Vert flight to the hangar. Much better. Alright, so this is just a helipad and a shipping crate next to... Oh, that's a place. I wonder if that's actually a rocket launch facility in this... I'm going to choose to say this is modern architecture, very smooth and clean looking, rather than a building that's missing a texture. Because I'm pretty sure I know why it's missing a texture and it's my fault entirely. No, it seems to be slightly textured. It's just, yeah, I think that's just modern design. Alright, cool, there's another helipad on top of it. So, modern art. So where the hell are we? Why are there trees? I turned off terrain scatters. I promise I did. Yeah, this actually does look like a proper working launch pad. So you can probably launch rockets from there if we really wanted to. Oh, so yeah, this is the mountain range on the northern side of the desert. Does this remind anyone else of those prefab buildings in Mass Effect 1? 'Cause that's the impression I'm getting. So here we have the new launch pad. Supposedly there's some kind of vehicle assembly building built into the mountain. I guess under the pad, maybe? It just like wheels them out on an elevator or something. There's a tracking station too, that's nice. They're just above the lower level of the clouds, so launching from here could be an interesting endeavor. Brakes. Ah yes, so there's the old vehicle assembly building. And they have put in quite a lot of stuff here, haven't they? See, I don't know if I like the taxiways between the vehicle assembly building and the launch pad. Because you'd kind of need that to roll the rocket out, wouldn't you? Like, you can't roll the rocket out through the taxiway. There's a second runway. Why would you need 2 runways? And there's the old tracking station. Maybe I just don't think quite big enough for this part of the mod, but whatever. At least this is another place to land. I would have preferred if they took that runway and put it somewhere more useful, though, the second runway here. And I would love to launch from here, because it's the only place with a launch tower that from the old part of the game. This used to be right next to the launch pad in the main Kerbal Space Center as well, and it could lead to very interesting accidents if you were not careful with how you launched. Much better. Let's wheels down, thank you. Brakes. Okay, so from the looks of things, we've got the very large array off to the right. Some kind of maybe a launch pad here behind us. Some very large ramps up to the runway. And once again, it looks like this has a bit of a inclined runway end, though that looks like it's more of a ramp down to the surface level. Yeah, that's not like a ski jump like the other one was. It's just kind of a stair-step looking thing. So lots of stuff supposedly around here. And we are not very far from Dead Kerbal Pit, which I think was somewhere around here. Let's take off and fly around a bit and see what this site looks like from the air. Alright, just gonna fly past here. It's a bunch of large tracking dishes, very similar to the very large array in New Mexico made famous by SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. It was a big set in the movie Contact. So that's what this is kind of inspired by. Very cool. Like there's little rail cars there and everything. Or little rail tracks anyway.